Robert Sullivan had been working in the same supermarket for 30 years, but he had a secret. Every day he quietly made sacrifices no one ever noticed, until his retirement day, when his coworkers revealed their true feelings and left him in shock. Have you ever known someone at your workplace who made silent sacrifices? Share it in the comments. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, don't forget to subscribe. This story is about the power of invisible heroes and how 30 years of quiet service can turn into a lasting legacy. Welcome to People's Journal Stories, where hidden heroes finally get the recognition they deserve. Every morning at 6:45, Robert Sullivan entered the employee entrance of the Fresh Mart supermarket. Located in Chicago's Rogers Park neighborhood, this mid-sized store was an ordinary place where locals shop for their daily needs. But for Robert, it had been the center of his life for 30 years. At 62, Robert was of average height, with graying hair, always neatly dressed. He worked as a shift supervisor, coordinating cashiers, handling customer complaints, checking inventory. His tasks were routine, but he never neglected a single one. Each morning followed the same pattern. He went to his office, made his coffee, collected the night shift report, then walked the aisles to make sure everything was in order. The staff called him Mr. Sullivan, respectful but distant. Robert was not very talkative. He chatted with colleagues only as much as necessary, then returned to his duties. He rarely spoke about his private life, except occasionally mentioning his wife, Martha. They had 2 children, but both lived in different cities. Younger employees often speculated about him. Some thought he was old-fashioned. Others said he was too serious. But everyone agreed on one thing. Robert Sullivan was reliable, consistent, and extremely quiet. Lisa Rodriguez, a 20-year-old cashier, had found him cold at first. "He never smiles, never jokes," she complained to her friends. But over time, Lisa began to realize there was something different about him. For example, when customers got angry, Robert never raised his voice. He listened patiently and solved the problem. When employees made mistakes, he didn't yell. He quietly showed them how to fix it. "Does Mr. Sullivan ever get angry?" Lisa once asked veteran employee Helen Carter. "I've been here 12 years, Helen replied. "I've never seen him lose his temper. But sometimes he does look very tired." Indeed, Robert had been arriving more tired lately, especially in recent months, but he never once neglected his work. Robert's co-workers thought they knew him, but there were details in his daily routine they never noticed. For example, Robert did the same thing during every lunch break. While eating his sandwich in the staff room, he pulled out a notebook and made a few phone calls. His conversations were short but warm. "How are you? Are you okay? Do you need anything?" Lisa often wondered who he was calling, but never had the courage to ask. Another detail: Robert never left right after his shift ended. Instead, he walked through the store one more time, checked the doors, and turned off any forgotten lights. "Why are you so meticulous?" young employee Dave Mitchell once asked. "Habit," Robert replied. "If you love a place, you take care of it." Dave found that answer strange. Who could possibly love a supermarket? Robert also had another unusual habit. When the cashiers were overwhelmed, he left his office work and opened a register to help customers. This wasn't normal. Shift supervisors usually never touched a cash register. "Mr. Sullivan, I can handle it," Lisa would insist. "You're already too busy," Robert would reply. "I don't want customers to wait." Lisa couldn't understand it. Robert didn't earn extra money for doing this. He simply wanted to make things easier. The strangest thing of all was the little gifts always on Robert's desk: chocolates, postcards, thank you notes. The staff assumed they were from customers, but no one really knew where they came from. One day Lisa asked Helen, "Where do these gifts come from?" Helen shrugged. "I don't know. Mr. Sullivan never says." In reality, these gifts came from many different people: retired customers, single parents, struggling students. Robert never spoke about it. Maria Gonzalez, a 32-year-old deli worker, had been watching Robert more closely. She had noticed he treated her differently. Maria was a single mother with an 8-year-old daughter, Sophia. Sometimes when Maria couldn't pick her up right after work, she had to let Sophia wait at the store, something that normally wasn't allowed. But Robert never said a word. Once, when Sophia had fallen ill and Maria missed a shift, she returned to work the next day worried. Robert quietly approached her. "How's Sophia?" he asked. Maria was surprised. "She's getting better, thank you. If she gets sick again, don't worry. Taking care of your family is more important." That moment deeply touched Maria. Robert wasn't just a boss. He was, in every sense of the word, human. In the first week of March, Robert finally told his coworkers at the end of May he would retire. After 30 years, he was leaving Freshmart. The news came as a shock. Robert had always seemed like he would be there forever. Employees were surprised and saddened. "Why are you retiring, Mr. Sullivan?" Lisa asked. "It's time," Robert answered simply. "I want to spend more time with Martha." But the real reason was more complicated. Robert's health had begun to fail. Diabetes, heart issues. His doctor had advised him to rest. But Robert told no one. He didn't want them to worry. Store manager Jennifer Walsh started planning a simple farewell party. A cake, maybe a few speeches. But the employees had other ideas. "We need to do something special for Mr. Sullivan," Maria said. "He's done so much for us." "Like what?" Dave asked. "I'm not sure," Maria admitted. "But a simple party isn't enough for 30 years of sacrifice," Helen agreed. "He's worked here for 30 years. He's helped all of us. He deserves a farewell worthy of him." Lisa suggested something new. "Let's involve the customers too. There are so many who love Mr. Sullivan." Everyone agreed, but none of them knew exactly what to do yet. That week, the employees began secretly meeting after shifts, brainstorming ways to honor Robert's retirement. The first idea was to create a photo album. They would collect pictures from Robert's 30 years at Freshmart and put them together. But then Maria had another idea. "Let's write down what Robert has done for us. Every memory, every small thing he's done." The idea was powerful. Everyone began to recall the small personal moments when Robert had quietly helped them. Lisa remembered how anxious she had been when she first started. Robert had patiently taught her how to speak with customers. "The customer may not always be right, but they always deserve respect," he told her. And when she cried after a mistake during her first week, Robert called her over and said, "Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning." Helen recalled her difficult divorce. Robert had never asked questions, but quietly adjusted her shifts and gave her less stressful tasks. Once, and when he found her crying, he simply handed her a tissue in silence. Dave remembered being fresh out of high school with no experience. Other managers didn't take him seriously, but Robert trusted him, gave him responsibilities. "You can do it," Robert had said, and Dave did. Maria's memories were even more personal. When her daughter Sophia was sick, Robert gave her time off. When Maria worried about school expenses, Robert pointed her to the Employee Assistance Program. On Sophia's birthday, Robert even left a small gift quietly on her desk, never mentioning it. When the employees combined their stories, they were stunned. For 30 years, Robert had been helping everyone in small, quiet ways. He had never spoken about it, never sought praise. "How does he remember all this?" Dave asked. "Because he cares," Helen replied. "To him, we're not just employees. We're real people." Then they began reaching out to former employees. Each phone call uncovered another Robert story. Rachel Martinez, former cashier, now a nurse. "Mr. Sullivan encouraged me to apply for a scholarship. He even helped me fill out the form. Now I work at Cook County Hospital." Brandon Davis, former stock clerk, now a truck driver. "When my father lost his job, Mr. Sullivan quietly gave me extra overtime. He didn't ask questions, just said, 'Do you need it?' That kept my family afloat." Samantha Kim, former part-timer, now a teacher. "When I started college, I was terrified. Mr. Sullivan sat with me and said, 'Education is the key to everything.' I still remember those words." Every call revealed another act of quiet generosity. Robert had been shaping lives without ever drawing attention to himself. The employees also began investigating Robert's relationship with customers, and what they discovered was surprising. Mrs. Patterson, an elderly customer, came shopping every week but couldn't carry her heavy bags. For 5 years, Robert had quietly walked her to her car each time. When asked, she simply said, "He's like an angel." The same kindness every single week teenager Jake Williams had been struggling financially. Robert had found him a part-time job in the warehouse for weekends. Today, Jake was studying at Northwestern University. Single mother Christina Lopez couldn't afford childcare. Robert arranged more flexible hours for her and allowed her to bring her daughter Emma to the store. Mr. Sullivan saved my life, Christina said. The more they learned, the clearer it became. Robert wasn't just a supervisor, he was a quiet protector of the community. When store manager Jennifer Walsh learned about the employees' secret plans, she gave her full support. "Let's give Robert the farewell he deserves," she said. Then Maria had a bold idea. "Let's invite everyone who knows Robert. Not just employees, customers too." That meant a huge event. Jennifer hesitated. "That's a lot of work." "Mr. Sullivan worked for us for 30 years, Helen said firmly. "We can work for him now." The decision was made. They would organize a special retirement event and keep it a surprise. Tasks were divided. Lisa, contact former employees. Helen, prepare the customer list and send invitations. Maria, organize catering. Dave, handle decorations and sound system. For 2 months they worked in secret. Robert suspected nothing. May 31st, 2024. Robert's last day. He arrived at 6:45 a.m., just like always. Everything seemed normal. At first, as Robert did his usual morning rounds, he noticed employees acting a little differently, more excited, more secretive. But he assumed it was just because it was his retirement day. By 3 p.m., his shift was ending. Jennifer Walsh asked him, "Robert, before you go, stop by the break room. We've got a small farewell for you." Robert expected a cake, a few speeches, nothing more. But when he opened the door, he froze. The room was packed with people, not just his current coworkers, but former employees too. Rachel, Brandon, Samantha, faces he hadn't seen in years. Customers were there as well. Mrs. Patterson, Jake Williams, Christina, and little Emma. Dozens of others. The walls were covered in photos. A 30-year timeline of Robert's life at Freshmart. Young Robert. Middle-aged Robert. Today's Robert. But the most shocking sight was the giant banner, "Thank you, Robert Sullivan. 30 years of silent service. 30 years of caring. 30 years of making a difference." Beneath it were dozens of signatures. Employees, customers, suppliers, even janitors. Everyone. Robert whispered, stunned. "What is this?" Jennifer Walsh took the microphone. "Robert, for 30 years you were there for us. Today, we are here for you." One by one, people stepped forward. Rachel. "Mr. Sullivan, you gave me the courage to apply for a scholarship. Today, I'm a registered nurse. Because of you, Brandon. When my family was struggling, you gave me extra overtime. You didn't ask questions. That money saved our home, Jake Williams. You gave me my first job. Because of that experience, I'm now in college with a 4.0 GPA. You changed my life." Christina Lopez. "As a single mother, I was struggling, but you treated Emma like your own granddaughter. You gave us family." Each speech hit Robert harder. His eyes welled with tears. His voice trembled. Finally, Maria stepped forward. "Mr. Sullivan, because of you, I was able to raise Sophia. You weren't just my supervisor. You were like a father. We are your second family," Robert broke down. He had never realized how much those small acts of kindness had meant. Then came the final surprise. Jennifer Walsh handed him a large check. "What's this?" Robert asked. "It's from employees and customers. To help you and Martha enjoy retirement, the amount $15,000. "That's too much. I can't accept it." "Yes, you can," Maria insisted. "For 30 years, you never took anything from us. You only gave. Now it's our turn." 1 week after Robert's retirement, Lisa was cleaning out his office when she found a small folder in the bottom drawer of his desk. Written on the front, "Employee notes. Personal." She opened it with Helen and gasped. Inside were handwritten notes about every employee. Lisa Rodriguez, stressed in her first week, needs guidance in customer service. Note, pressure from parents. Support her, Helen Carter. Going through divorce. Give flexibility, Don't ask questions, but be there. Dave Mitchell lacks confidence, assign responsibility. He can succeed. Maria Gonzalez, single mother, financial struggles, adjust hours for Sophia. Each page was proof that Robert had been quietly watching over them for decades. The final pages were labeled success stories. Lisa, accepted to Northwestern. I'm so proud. Dave started supervisor training. Confidence growing. Maria, enrolled in community college. A bright future with Sophia. The file revealed who Robert really was. Not just a man doing his job, but someone who carried everyone's lives in his heart, always looking for ways to help. Today, Robert Sullivan is 63 and enjoying a peaceful retirement. At a new Freshmart location in Schaumburg, there's a room named the Robert Sullivan Community Room. On the wall hangs the only photo ever taken of Robert smiling. Beneath it are the words, "He showed us that great leadership whispers, it doesn't shout." This story reminds us, true heroism is not about being noticed. It's about the quiet acts of service no one sees. Because silent sacrifice will always eventually come to light. At People's Journal Stories, we honor the quiet heroes of everyday life. Do you know someone at your workplace who makes silent sacrifices, just like Robert Sullivan? Share their story in the comments. And if this story touched you, support us by subscribing. Because every week, we bring you the untold stories of forgotten heroes.